Hi everybody, Cheryl and Lady coming to you from the Ladies Garden and Home. Happy Valentine's Day! Yay! Anyway, I thought today would be a perfect day to talk about flowers. So I hope you join us. After I seeded my first bunch of seeds and kind of was left up to what do I do now, I said to myself, well, you know what, it would be really nice is to start thinking about the flowers. Okay, so I have a couple of ideas about the flowers. Yes, I want companion plants for my vegetables. Those are very, very important. We need to attract the pollinators. We also need to distract some of the bad bugs from the vegetables, like nasturtium does. They're a good aphid trap, for example. I knew that I was going to be planting the nasturtium again and the marigolds again. I missed not having alyssum in the garden. Alyssum is a beautiful, low, kind of a ground cover. They kind of spread, but their roots don't interfere with plants nearby, which makes it very nice. But it's really, really good for attracting hoverflies, which are great pollinators. Those are the little tiny things that go bzz, bzz, bzz. I mean, I don't know what they sound like, but anyway. Another really, really nice companion plant, and also it's a complete edible, the entire plant is edible, is borage. It is so pretty. It's got beautiful, vibrant blue flowers, and it really does attract bees. I was very impressed by that. I had a color scheme, and I did this on purpose last year, because marigolds and nasturtium were such a big part of the garden. I went with mostly the tones of oranges, yellows, almost feel like the bronzy kind of colors, and with a couple of reds here and there, which was very nice, especially in the fall. And the borage is a very vibrant blue, which looked very, very pretty. I just wish I had incorporated more of the blues into the garden, and some purples too. I'm going to be planting more borage than I did last year. And then calendula. Now calendula makes a wonderful medicinal herb. It's also a very pretty flower. They call it the pot marigold in some countries. I guess maybe it's a forebear of the marigold that we have today. It was a very pretty plant. I've done a lot with it though. I have made a extract out of it, and I've made tea. So calendula, I will list the properties of calendula. I think that they have a lot to do with healing properties of infections. So it's a very good one to have on hand. Another one that I missed out not having many of in the garden this year is chamomile. Now I had a bumper crop of chamomile, not last year but the year before, so I have a whole thing of dried chamomile flowers for tea and that kind of thing, but I'd really like to have more chamomile. Again, this is another one that has great medicinal properties. You probably know chamomile tea, sleepy time. It really has a very calming effect. It's also good for, I believe, indigestion and that kind of thing. But when you want to go to sleep and relax at the end of the day, chamomile tea is where you go, right? If you've seen any of my videos in the past, like fall, I have a ton of really ugly cardboard, really ugly, all surrounding my beds on the east side of my garden. The purpose of the cardboard is to kill off what became extremely unwieldy crabgrass that I couldn't even get the mower over. I mean, I have one of those, non-powered mowers, which, anyway, it works. No carbons, whatever. Anyway, but it did not work on the crabgrass. So what I did is I put the cardboard on, killing off all of that grass over the next couple of months, and then in the spring I'm going to plant white clover. And this clover is very, very good to have in the garden because it's one of the very first flowers to bloom in the spring. And that means that the bees that are, coming alive at that time of year are going to have some place to eat. So there we go. We're going to do some white clover. And I also have the dahlia that I brought the pot inside to hopefully overwinter the tuber inside the house. We'll see if that worked or not. Another thing that I tried last year, but I don't think it had enough time to go to flower because it grew very tall and the plant itself was pretty, is hibiscus. Okay, this is a red roselle hibiscus, and this is the kind of hibiscus that after the flowers bloom, these big pods emerge, these big red pods, and that's what they make the hibiscus tea out of. So my son loves hibiscus tea, absolutely loves it. Again, there are some medicinal properties. I'll see if I can find them and put it on the screen here. So I already started it. Believe it or not, these germinated in 2 days. So hopefully that's a good harbinger for me having hibiscus this year. Marigolds, I already mentioned. The Happy Days variety is what I tried last year, and they're a much more compact marigold. Unfortunately, or fortunately, because it was beautiful, but unfortunately the overpowering ones were the bigger marigolds that self-seeded that I had planted the year before. But I'm going to be trying some more Happy Days. Pansies. I'm not sure that my pansy plant that I have in a little pot will make it through the winter. It did last year, but just in case, I have decided to try, oh, I'm doing it upside down. See what happens when you put your glasses on? Okay, Pansy Frizzle Sizzle. Here's something that I'm really putting a lot of attention to. And that is, and I've seen this, all of the English gardeners have these in their gardens, and they know what they're doing. Sweet peas are not edible. They are indeed a flower. But look at the variety of colors that they come in. And what I like about these is that they're climbers. I don't have to worry about staking them because I am fenced in on 4 sides. And what I would like to do with these, because they grow vertically, they're not taking up bed space, and I'm hoping to maybe cover up some of just the plain fence. And I understand you can also grow them intertwined with other climbing things, so I'm going to be planting them next to the beans and the peas. Anyway, I'm very excited. I got a couple of varieties here. I went with a dark blue, Royal Navy blue. This is just called blue, but it's a much lighter blue. Old Spice, which looks like an orangey kind of vibrant color. And then this is Pearl Red, which I thought was very pretty. So I think that would lend a lot of color to my otherwise kind of bland walls. Okay, so I also mentioned that I'm going to be growing nasturtium again. I seem to be out of the seeds. Last year I had a bunch of them self-seed and grow up on their own. I don't think I want to risk it though, in case the seedlings don't come up. So I think I'm going to order some of those seeds. I've got a little bit of time though. Then I told you a couple of weeks ago about my shade garden that I had put in 2 years ago, and then last year I didn't really plant it up very well at all. I got busy, I guess. I don't know. So I decided that I'm not going to start the shade garden plants from seed because that is a huge undertaking. Because that is a very long strip that I'm going to have to fill with flowers. Instead, I'm going to wait till my local garden club has their annual flower sale. And what I'm going to be planting in there are the shade lovers, the begonias, the impatiens, and the coleus. And I'm going to see what they also might have that are good shade-loving plants for that area. And then I wanted to mention the perennials that I have that I hope made it through the really bad winter we've been having. I have a lily that's very pretty, very vibrant. Gladiola, which is have a very soft, buttery yellow color, gladiolas. I have those in a pot. Echinacea, I've had those. I put those in the first year I moved here, so that was 2020, the spring of 2020. I have a butterfly bush. Don't know if that made it through with the pot because of the cold. Last year, I had a butterfly bush and it did not make it. So let's see if that... And by the way, I know people can sometimes have a very visceral reaction to butterfly bushes because in many parts of the country they are considered an invasive species because they can be very aggressive and grow so big and blah, blah, blah. The variety that I have and the varieties that are very popular today are called sterile, and that is because they cannot reproduce. So if you keep it in a pot, even if you don't keep it in a pot, you grow it, it's really not going to spread. It may get very, very big, but it's not going to drop seeds and then, fly away into your neighbor's house. And then, now they're battling a huge butterfly bush they didn't even want. But anyway, and I have my mini rose bushes. They're on their third year. So I up-potted them last year, so let's see if they need up-potting again. But I check on them outside. I have them right up against the house, and they seem to be doing fine. And then, as you know, I have my magnificent lavender row, which started out as such tiny little plants in 2020, and in 2022, they just... So let's see what they do this year. They don't mind the cold, that's for sure. Oh, no, that's not it. Wait for it. I got this whole variety pack of sunflowers. So my sunflowers last year, the mammoths, grew very, very... Oh, let's open this together. Hey, we're having an unboxing. My sunflowers last year, some of them did well, some of them didn't, and some of them had their heads eaten off by the squirrels. And I'm not talking, oh, let's wait for the flower to produce seeds. I'm talking, let's eat the entire flower. So now I have like a headless flower that's 6 feet tall. Anyway, what I was thinking is trying some new... Oh, look, it came with a little... Aww. Okay, those are cute. I thought I would try some new ones, and this pack came from Homegrown, a small family-owned company with a love for gardening. Okay, and it has a variety of 8 different types of sunflowers, some of them small, some of them tall. We got Mexican. We've got, what does HMAX mean? I don't even know what that means. We've got chocolate cherry, that's a darker one. All sorts mixed, so I guess that's just kind of like a whatever. Velvet Queen. Autumn Beauty. That at least has a picture on it. Isn't that pretty? And Lemon Queen, that's a bright yellow one. So I'm excited to try a whole bunch of different varieties of sunflowers in addition to the mammoth that I'll be doing. Talk to my neighbor next door. Nice family. Anyway, young couple. When they got married, sunflowers were her flower at her wedding. And when she saw my sunflowers growing over the fence where they can see them, she was so excited. Until the squirrels. Okay. Anyway, we were talking about it, and she's like, oh, will you be planting sunflowers this year? I'm like, yeah, I'll be planting sunflowers, of course. She's like, oh, I love them so much. So anyway, I decided to grow a whole bunch. Maybe I'll even expand my garden into her side garden and give her a little gift. I haven't talked to her about that yet. Maybe I'll just surprise her. I don't know. I don't want to get arrested. And then, of course, we cannot forget our zinnias. These are the seeds that I've saved from my zinnia plants. This goes back to 2020 that I saved them. But it's gotten to the point where some of them just come back on their own, though I do want to scatter them where I want them, and I'm not going to start them inside. I did that last year. There's no point to it because they grow quickly and they don't need the space inside the house clogging up. And then there's one more thing. I had talked about this last summer, but I never got around to it. But I would really, really like to do it this year. My brother sent me such a cute little thank you note. Shout out to Alex. Anyway, he sent me this nice little thank you note just to say thank you for being my sister. This was back in the summer. And it's a plantable card. So it's from thoughtfulhuman.co. And basically it's a whole bunch of, well, I'm not going to let you read the card, but it's a whole bunch of seeds that are pressed into the paper. Isn't that cool? So I didn't find a space for it, and it got late in the season, so I said, all right, this is something that I'm going to do, and I think I'm going to dedicate a pot just for the Alex flowers. I hope you enjoyed this video. I would love to know what kind of flowers you're planning on growing this year, so leave us a comment in the comments section. Let's get a dialogue going about our favorite flowers, okay? I hope you subscribe and join us together on our gardening journey this year. And from the Ladies Garden Home, enjoy your gardening journey. Bye! Lady says happy Valentine's Day. Yes, don't